On today's episode, learn everything you need to know about how to start your finance brokerage business. Hey everyone, this is the People's Broker. When you're setting up your own business, and especially when you're setting up your own finance brokerage business, sometimes you don't know where to start. On this episode today, I will give you my step-by-step guide along with my tips when you're looking to set up your own finance brokerage business. Before we get started, please give this video a thumbs up and give this channel a subscribe for future content and leave me a comment with your topic suggestions. Before any further ado, let's get to work. Before looking to do anything else, the very first thing you need to do, and it is the most important thing in my dictionary, is to come up with a name for your business. Now, a lot of times people feel, is it that important? I think it is very important because the name you choose for your business has to be unique, has to be something that resonates with you. Now, a lot of times you could sit down, do some brainstorming. Doesn't necessarily mean you just get to pick that name. So a good tip that I will share with you, something to do. So write down a list of names that you're thinking of. Make sure it's something catchy and something that represents you. But the thing to do is when you've thought of some names, go on either the company's house website or go on some of the go on Google or go on some of the websites such as GoDaddy or 123reg, just to see if the name you are thinking of is not already taken by someone else, or there isn't another business that exists with the exact same name, because you wouldn't want to do that. Also, the reason I'm saying go ahead and check some of these websites where, for example, 123reg or Wix or GoDaddy, is because when you are going to set up your website, the domain name you're going to choose for the website, make sure it will match your business. So the most important thing and very first thing is pick the name for your business. Now that you've picked the name for your business and you've got a business idea, you want to start your finance brokerage firm, what do you do? So these are the steps you need to take to set up your finance brokerage firm. The very first thing you guys need to do is register your business, and you can do that by just going on to the company's house website. You can just fill in the details. You've already picked the business name, so fill in the details. There's a small fee to pay for registering your business, and normally the business is registered instantly on the same day or the following day, and you're assigned your business registration number. But before even you do that, there are 3 ways how you can register to work as a self-employed person. The very first thing you can do is just trade as a sole trader. And what that means is you're just trading as an individual in your name. So you can be a sole trader, but you can be trading as ABC Limited or something like that, but you're registered as sole trader. And it is more to do with sort of tax purposes and things like that. It's a very simple setup, so not a lot needs doing from it. The key thing to remember is when you register as a sole trader, you are personally responsible for all the debts for the business. The second option you have is a partnership. So register as a partnership. That's when 2 or more people will run the business. So you will register it as a partnership, whether it be you and one other person or 3 of you, and you just want to register it as a partnership. The third option, which seems to be quite common, and a lot of businesses go that way, is more for like the future of the business, how you want to do it, is you register as a limited company. Now, a lot of people initially start out as a sole trader or partnership, but then they convert into a limited company. But again, you can just start out and register as a limited company. And key thing to know is that limited company finances are separate from your personal finances. Now, the things you will do when you register as a limited company, you will assign directors for the business. You decide on the shareholding and the shares. Are the directors also the shareholders? Doesn't have to be. Shareholders can be separate. And who are the shareholders? You have to name them and what is their shareholding. So you have to classify that. There's more reporting and more management responsibilities when it comes to limited companies. Obviously, you have to do your accounts at the end of the year, things of that nature. And when you're running a limited company, it's always advisable and a good idea to use an accountant to do your taxes and things like that, because it just saves you time and you just let the expert do all the work and you can concentrate on running the business. The next step, guys, and it is part of registering as the business, is looking at the registered address and the trading address. Now, a lot of times most of the time they can be the same, but not always. So sometimes people will have the registered address, they just use their accountant's address as a registered address, but their trading address could be totally different. So those are the things you need to decide. If you keep it the same, things can be simple, because a lot of times post may get sent to your accountant and you may not know about it, and you find out a lot later, because accountants could be getting tons of email and messages in the post, and your post could get lost. So it's always a good practice to keep your registered address and trading address the same. The next step, guys, when you're looking to start out as a self-employed finance broker or starting your own finance brokerage business, is just decide how do you wish to trade. So the two options you have is either going the DA route, which is directly authorized with the FCA, or working as an appointed representative of a network. I have shared details of these two and how to set up, along with the pros and cons, on two separate videos. So go check those out. I've included the link in the video description. The next step, guys, is setting up your IT systems. So again, that's to do with, depends who's in the business. Is it just you, other people in the business, and that can make a difference. If it's just you initially starting out, obviously you need your initial bits, your laptop and internet and whatnot. One of the key things I say is a website. So I think it's very important to have a website, because these days the very first thing anybody ever does when you talk to them or anything, or they find out about you, they go on Google and they search your website to see what your website looks like. So make sure your website looks good, properly done. Again, there are ways you can do it yourself, or you can hire a professional to do that for you. When you do it yourself, you do the hosting websites. The thing to do, the very first tip is, if you're thinking of a business, thinking of a website, just go on things like GoDaddy, 123Reg, Wix, or some of the other websites. Just search the name of the businesses you think of and just look at what names are taken. Also, there may be things you may need to decide. So you're choosing a name of abc.com. abc.com is already taken, but you may be able to take .co.uk. But again, you also want to choose a name based on your location. So a lot of the UK-based business where I am based right now, they choose to go .co.uk. .com can be more international, but .co.uk makes it more specific. Straight away, a person knows that it's a UK-based business, or .org, or whatever you want to decide. So just go search it and make sure that domain name you're thinking is available. Sometimes you may need to tweak the domain name a little bit. Also, you don't want to make the domain name so long that when people are searching for your name or searching for your website, it gets misspelled and it leads them somewhere else. So just make sure you keep it simple and short, so it's easy also for people to remember, and they don't misspell it, and they can easily be led to your website. The other thing is also email. So it's another big tip I'll share. A lot of times initially when people start out, they just set up a Google or a Gmail address or Hotmail or Yahoo. My advice would be, don't do that. If you are serious about your business and you really want to make it a success, get a proper business address and get something similar to your domain name. So similar to me, like my domain, which I chose, was www.theffs, so thefocusfinancesolutions.co.uk. So my email address is the same, at theffs.co.uk. So make sure it's same. It looks more professional. It looks much better when you email people, or when people are emailing you back, they know you're a legit business, not just a Gmail that anybody could just make up. Another thing also about the email is also your signature. So make sure you have nice professional signature, automated on there. If you need help on that, get some help. There's some very useful websites, even if you're using Microsoft Outlook, if that's what you're going to use, or something else, then there's some useful tips on there and things like that. Microsoft Outlook is very useful. We're used to using it. and it's easy to use for the data. So if you're in it and you're serious about your business, I say get that package, get that done. The other thing to do with your IT is so when you sign up for, say, for example, it's not an advert for Microsoft. I just find it easier to use. So when you use it, you get the package for your self, so that you'll have access to all the apps like Excel, PowerPoint, things like that. And obviously Outlook will be in there too. So you can get the business package. You'll pay a monthly subscription, but it just makes life so much easy. You have access to all the apps. You're using the systems. It's easy to upload. So my advice would be, when you're setting it up, do things right, go with a package so it makes life easy for you, and especially when you're communicating with your client. The next step, guys, is registering with the ICO. So firstly, what exactly is ICO? So ICO is the Information Commissioner's Office. Why do you need to register with the ICO? So if any business who is handling data in the UK is required to register with the ICO, and the importance of it is a lot more. I mean, it's always been there, but also now with the GDPR and things like that. So you're required to register with the ICO if you're going to be handling customer data. There's an annual fee for registering with the ICO. The first fee you pay is £40, but then if you set up a direct debit with them, it's £35 a year. So not a huge amount, but it's necessary, so you have to pay it. There is a link in the video description for the ICO website, so you can click on that to register your business. The next step, guys, is about insurances. So any business, to protect themselves, you need insurance, and there's various types of insurances you can look at. Some are mandatory, some are not, but it's always good precautionary. So more of a peace of mind. You're running a business, something happens, you may need protection. So some of the things you may want to consider as insurance, you can look at personal insurance or director insurance. Again, if you're the only person in the business, you may want to consider these things just to protect yourself. You're the main, engine in the business, and you break down, you need to be protected. Your income needs to be protected. You may want to insure your office. So if you have an actual premise or things like that, or equipment of that nature, you may want to protect that. One of the other things is your PI cover. So that's your professional indemnity. What that does, it covers the cost of any compensation to clients for loss or damage in case of a complaint. So something happened, might not have been your fault, but because of some odd reason, client suffered a loss, or there is some kind of complaint the client makes and you have to compensate the client. It's a good cover and a peace of mind to have. A lot of times, a lot of the lenders may ask you this question when you're registering with them is, do you have some kind of PI cover in place? So it would be good to have that in place. The next step, and it's a very, very important one, guys, is all about compliance. So now when you're working as a finance broker, it's an industry, it's a regulated industry. Again, you may be working more on unregulated side of business, you may be working on regulated side of business, depends on what choice you make. When you went for permissions with the FCA, DA, or AR, again, compliance is very important regardless of what you're doing. So if you're working with clients, compliance is key. Now there's two ways you can do it. You can do it all internally. If you depends on the size of your business, again, can be time consuming. But if you're a larger business or you're looking to hire more staff, it may not be a bad idea to invest in some external compliance. They can take the hassle out of your life, and they can just help you stay compliant, do all what you need to do to stay compliant with the FCA and continue to trade. The next step, guys, again, it's not in this order, so it could have been earlier, is opening your business bank account. In order to open your business bank account, you need your business to be registered first, because one of the things they will require for is your registration number. Do open a business bank account if you want to trade as a proper business. Also, just save the hassle. A lot of times people say, I'm just going to get paid in my personal account. But again, when the people want to pay you, when the banks want to pay you, when the lenders want to pay you, they will require business bank account details. So make sure you go and set that up. There are very easy ways to open it. You can either use your existing bank, which can, if they offer business accounts, it can be easy because they won't need to do all the KYC checks and things like that on you. Or you can choose one of the other banks out there, some of the new smart banks. So do your research and make an informed decision. The next step, guys, is just putting some procedures in place. So the two key things is your procedures for GDPR. So that's to do with how you're going to handle clients' data. So again, a good thing to do is put together a document, which you should get your clients to sign. This document just explains to the customer how you will handle data. It gives you consent to share their data, because obviously you're going to be sharing their IDs and financial information with a third party, i.e. the lender or whatever. So it gives you that protection. So make sure you have the document in place. The other also important document you need to put in place is your terms of business. So the clients need to know exactly what service are you providing, what kind of advice you're providing, what fees you charge, what is your complaints procedure, things of that nature. So both those documents I think are very important. Put them in place, get them done. Another step, guys, again, it may not be necessary for you, but I think it's a good idea, is to joining a industry professional body. And there's quite a few out there. The two key ones out there, one is NACFB, the other one is FIBA. I've shared their links in the video description if you want to check them out and see what they have to offer. They both have monthly fees. There's various benefits they can offer you depending on what your requirements are. So they can give you a link into lenders. So a lot of times, a lot of the lenders will require you to be part of one of these. So you may want to look into that. Also, they can offer you with your CPD. So they have tools in there which you can use, because as you know, as a finance broker, you have CPD requirements that you need to complete per year as laid out by the FCA. So it's always a good idea. Research those organizations, research some others, and also mention these on your website so people know exactly what you're part of, maybe on your business cards, perhaps on your signature link, on your email. So always good to do that. It just gives you a little bit more credibility in the eyes of your clients. So guys, that was today's episode, sharing with you the step-by-step guide on how to set up your finance brokerage firm. I really hope you found it useful. Please give this video a thumbs up, give this channel a subscribe, leave me a comment. Also email me some topic suggestions, things you would like to discuss, any specific questions, any pain points, anything you need help with, and I'll try my best to answer those questions for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.